Okay, hello everybody. It's Wayne from Inspired to Change again. One of the skills we're going to be looking at this time is change, accept, let go. And it's one of those skills that I like putting in things in threes: change, accept, let go. And this one's easier said than done. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. It can't be done. And it's starting to look at varying different conflicts and arguments and difference of opinions and scenarios and situations and experiences that we go through in life and in relationships. I'll try and keep this introduction brief because I do have a tendency to wander and go on a bit. So I think what I'm going to start with is just by asking, think about the relationships that you've had, the relationships that you're in, whether that be an intimate relationship with family members, with friends, and how many arguments, conflicts, difference of opinions are over the same thing again and again. It's a repetitive sort of cycle of a certain subject will get brought up and that'll bring about an argument. Or one of the things that we'll look at some point is what we call hitting below the belt and bringing past situations and past things up. And it's something that can be used along with that. It's also change, accept, let go is something that can also be used eventually at some point. Not all relationships last. Not all relationships go on forever and ever. And these relationships break down. And change, accept, let go is a process that we can start having a look at how we potentially move on from those relationships and how we can start looking at filling the void of what that relationship has left. What change, accept, let go can also start looking at is experiences and situations that we've been through in the past. Now, chances are most of us have been through situations, and this is where I think the idea of it's easier said than done because we do sort of hold personal experiences close to us. But I think what we start having to look at of where our thoughts, our ideas, our beliefs, what experiences have moulded them, and the experiences that we feel help to make us productive and functional and positive, and then are there experiences and beliefs and attitudes that we have that hold us back, that stop us from aggressive, stop us from moving forward, stop us from developing those relationships. And this is where that change, accept, let go starts coming into play. Okay, so a little bit about change, accept, let go. There is something called the Serenity Prayer out there, which is about giving the strength to change the things that can and the strength to accept the things that you can't. And I suppose it's around that sort of kind of thing. So it's about starting to sort of filter out the situations, the things, the relationships, the attitudes, the beliefs, the behaviours that we can do something about, and how we can plan that and how we can come up with a plan for changing it. Are there things that we can change right now, or the little elements that we can change right now, or are there things that we need to look at a later time and come back to later? But then there are experiences that we've been through in life that we can't change. They've happened. And yes, it's good to learn. It's good to potentially sometimes reflect on those. But I think there's a fine line between thinking and overthinking. And that's where the accept comes in. And it's about looking at those situations, looking at those experiences and saying, and being able to move from them and say, right, that has happened. Accepting isn't liking. Two different things. To accept something doesn't mean that you have to like it. Somebody might say something that hurts you, and that might be their opinion. And in a way, we almost have to sort of accept that that's their opinion. Doesn't mean we have to like it. Doesn't mean we have to agree with it. Now, what we can choose from there is, do we speak to them about it with a view of either not changing their opinion, or some people it might be educating, or is there no point in having that conversation? Do we need to sort of let that go and move forward with that? So that's where the sort of acceptance bit is. It's about going, right, I am where I am. What has happened is what has happened. I cannot change that. I might not like it. It may have hurt me. It may have upset me. But it has happened. That's moulded part of who I am. If it's something that then, that behaviour and how it's affected you is something that you can change, then you look at how you plan to change it. If it's something that you can't change, then we have to look at how we let that go and how we move from. And one of the ways is having a look at the benefits of being able to move from it and move on. So that's what change, accept, let go is. I don't want to speak too much about it because there is quite a lot of information in the introduction video. So I'm going to leave it for there now. And when we've had a look at how the two go together, if it is that we need to put a bit more of an explanation to it, we'll potentially sort of link a supplementary video. But I just want to leave it there for now so that you can have a look through the video. Okay, thanks.
Welcome to Skills and Inspiration from Inspire to Change. All of the skills that we use in our programme are linked to the Change, Accept, Let Go framework. This is a structure for choosing how we deal with problems in our relationships. Sometimes we may be able to change what is happening to us and our loved ones, and sometimes we may not. Frustration and worry can build up when we feel something is out of our control and we need other safe options, like acceptance or letting go, to prevent aggression or harm happening. Having other options lets us think about situations before we choose a skill we can try. Before we choose how we are going to react, think about the following questions. What has happened that has made me feel this way? What am I thinking and how is this making me feel? What does this mean for me? Is it something that I have strong beliefs about? You have given yourself time to think about what the actual issue is right now. But before you take any action, question yourself some more. Is what I know about the situation a fact or an opinion? If it is an opinion, whose opinion is it, and is it the truth? Is there anything I can change right now? Not only that, if you do change things right now, what would happen? How important is this issue to you? How long has it been an issue for? How important will it be in a year's time? You need to know how much energy you should put into resolving this right now. If a stranger was looking at the situation from the outside, what might they say to you? And if your friend was in the same situation, what advice might you give to them? What is the bigger picture? Is there anything or anyone else having an impact on this situation that you've not thought about? So taking all of that on board, what are your options now? If I'm going to make changes, I will need a plan. What can I change? How can I make the changes? What resources do I need? When can I do it? And what do I do first? Although we can't always change the situation, there may be other things we can change that will help us feel better and more in control. We should try and think about what we can change rather than wasting time and energy focusing on what we can't. We can change our reaction to the situation. We can change our behaviour, and we can use communication skills to try and change the current situation. If I can't change the situation, can I simply accept that this has happened? In order to accept things, we have to be willing to accept a situation has occurred as it is, rather than how we want it to be or think it should be. Acceptance means not judging the situation to be good or bad, just that it has happened and it is as it is. Thoughts that can help acceptance are: I can always come back to it later. I can keep my options open. This is a normal body reaction. I don't have to fight it or try and stop it, and it will pass. Letting go involves taking control and choosing to let go of the issue and move on with your life rather than holding on to it. How important is the situation to you, and is it worth it to keep chewing it over? In the great scheme of things, is it something you can leave, let go of, and move on from? By letting go, you are in control of how the situation no longer affects you. None of these choices have to be final. You are simply taking charge of your responses to emotions that will keep you and your loved ones safe from harm right now.